Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video, and this is important, guys. Anyone who is kind of either fairly new into the game or coming into a mid-game point and currently is getting a little bit baffled by gear, by artifact sets, let me tell you this. There are 38 artifact sets in the game, and I went through basically all of my champions, and I could count 11 that I actually use. Okay, so let's get through the fluff. Let's talk about the gear sets that actually make a difference in Raid Shadow Legends, and how to use them, when to use them. I also just want to start, before I go into the gear sets, I just want to start by saying stats are worth more than sets. Okay, unless you specifically need a set for a reason, stats over sets. And a good example here with my Shamakin Royal Guard. He is in an odd assortment of sets, but he hits damn hard, and that's all I wanted him to do. Hit hard. Yeah, so Royal Guard in this build here does not have a load of synergy of sets. He just hits like an absolute freight train, and often in Raid, stats are more important than sets. So rather than thinking to yourself, what set do I need for this champion? You should be thinking to yourself, what stats do I need for this champion, and which sets are going to help me get to those stats? Okay. The only kind of exception to that is if you absolutely need lifesteal set, for example, for clan boss, or you absolutely need a set bonus like a shield set bonus. But we're getting to that now. So let's talk about the 11 sets that I think are actually usable, actually required. And even of those, honestly, most of you probably only need 8. Most of you need 8. So let's do it. First set, I'm going to focus on the first 4 sets are for early game people. Okay, people that are coming into the game, you've been playing it for less than a month, and these are the only 4 sets you need. You don't need any more than this right now. Forget the others, they're all white noise. Okay, the first set that everybody needs in their life is the speed set. And you're probably like, if you're new to the game, you might not understand this yet, but every single champion on your roster needs a good, healthy amount of speed. Okay, speed is king in this game. The more speed you have, the more you rotate your abilities. The more you rotate your abilities, the easier it is to win. The more you outspeed your opponents, the easier it is to win. If you're in the arena and you're slow, you're dead. If you're in the arena and you're fast, you win. So there's a lot to be said for speed gear. It's the best set in the game. Right the way through to end game, people need absolutely great speed sets. And when you're looking for speed sets, you ideally want speed substats on basically all of them. Pretty much every time you pick up a piece of speed gear, even if you find one in the market. Have I got one here? No, let's pretend this was speed. I'd be like, has it got a speed substat? Yes or no? If it has, I would buy it early game. If it doesn't, I won't buy it early game. It's as simple as that. So speed, substats, on speed sets are what you're ruled by. And if you look at my gear, I've got tons of speed gear. More speed gear probably than anything else on my account. And just about all of it will have speed. And you'll notice that anything which was epic, I've actually rolled up to level 12 to see if I landed speed rolls. And the reason why these are not sitting on someone right now is because they're either not good enough or they're kind of just like an odd piece that I might use for something else. But honestly, because it hasn't landed good speed rolls, that's why they're not sitting on people. Okay, so speed gear is king. It's king right the way through the game. So that is one of the sets you should focus your energy on. And if you're early game, honestly, this is what you do. Early game, you go into campaign. Once you've got yourself to brutal campaign, you go into Palace of Aravia and you farm Palace of Aravia. Don't go to Dragon too early. So many people make this mistake. Don't go there too early until you have got yourself 5-star chests in HP percentage as a main stat, and defense percentage as a main stat, and attack percentage as a main stat, with a speed substat roll. Don't worry if it's an uncommon piece and you want epic. Forget it. You just want the uncommon piece with the good main stat and a good substat. Same with gloves. Do the same. And with boots, you just want to find yourself some 5-star speed boots, speed main stat. Don't even worry if they're common. It doesn't matter. They are way better than farming thousands of energy in Dragon trying to find that magic piece. Once you've done that, you then farm stage 7 for a while and try and get yourself some rare pieces in speed gear with some speed substats, and then try and roll those speed substats into single or double roll speed. That's where you should be early game. Right, second thing then, and that applies to all of these first sets that I talked about, by the way. Second gear set you're going to use early game is Lifesteal, and you'll use it for a long time. This is a set to invest in. This is going to be your clan boss set. So Lifesteal, basically you regen 30% of the damage that you deal. Now, important point here, you don't deal a lot of damage early game. Okay, so Lifesteal set is kind of like a top up. It's not until you get masteries, and masteries help you do damage, that it starts to really come in on its own. But you should have masteries coming through within the first month on at least a couple of champions. You should be using gems to do that on your first 2 champs that you get to level 60. And you should be getting like War Master or Giant Slayer. This is a different video, but you should be getting War Master or Giant Slayer on those champs. But Lifesteal, it keeps you alive. It helps you basically in any early game content because you need to regen your health. You need to keep going. Later game, you can blow stuff up much easier. Earlier game, you can't. So again, you should be follow the same rules that I just said for speed gear. You want to be looking for speed main stat on your boots. You want to be looking for either attack percent or defense percent or HP percent on the chest. Luckily, I got 3 in a row. And you want to be finding speed substats on these as well. Speed substats are still super crucial to what you're looking to do. But you might also need to start to find now some other substats like accuracy, like HP percent, like crit rate, so that you start to just get that bit better gear. But Lifesteal gear, the second one. Third one up is going to be accuracy gear. Why accuracy gear? Everyone who's got any abilities to land against an enemy needs accuracy to do it. It's probably the most important stat right the way through the game. If you do not land your abilities, all you're doing is hitting for pure damage. And you will find it extremely difficult to win in this game if you do not land your abilities. So, you see here, accuracy 298. If we see here, I'm endgame by the way, accuracy a couple of hundred. He doesn't need accuracy. Accuracy 350. Yeah, if I'm looking at someone who's not built for the end game but built for earlier game, accuracy 220. Yeah, it's like the stat I'm trying to build up, 200. So basically, for every level of dungeon that you face, take that dungeon level, times it by 10, and that's how much accuracy you're going to need to land abilities on the bosses. And for clan boss, you're going to need accuracy to land your abilities as well. So accuracy set is a really good way of pumping up your accuracy number. Every time you put 2 pieces on together, you gain plus 40 accuracy. Okay? Plus 40, it's big. So you might only need to put 1 set of accuracy gear on, and all of a sudden you've hit the accuracy requirements that you needed. Yeah? So accuracy gear, really strong in the early game. Right the way through, actually. Even my end game arena champions, or some of them, take this one here. I've still got an accuracy set kicking in on my Madame for my plat level arena build. Okay? So, next one up is going to be shield set. So this is the first 4, yeah? First 4 that you need to concentrate on for anybody in the early game. Shield sets. Why shield set? Bam. It gives you 30% HP as a shield for your whole team. So if you can put a shield set on a high HP champion, then they're going to spread that high HP to the rest of their team. So what you're looking for in a shield set is different. Ideally, what you want to get is high HP rolls and perhaps some speed. Yeah, if you see all of these pieces, this is an HP set of gloves. This is an HP set of gloves. We've got HP boots here. Probably for early game, you want speed boots, but ideally speed boots with an HP roll. Yeah, substat. So the more HP you've got, the bigger the shield's going to become. And you can put a shield set really on any support type champion. Any support type champion would be great. So you see this example here, Stag Knight. He's actually my guy who does decreased defense and attack, but he's still got speed boots on with HP rolls in shield set, HP chest, HP gloves, speed rolls, speed and HP. Yeah. So basically what we're doing here is we're elevating his HP up so that he spreads a bigger shield. Every time you go into a fresh wave of enemies, that shield replenishes. Every time you move into the boss fight for the first time, you get your shield. Even if it's been whacked off you in the last round, it's pretty clutch to help you through content. So shield set, that's the fourth one of my early game sets. Now we're going to get into the mid game. Mid game, you add 4 more sets. And I'm going to call out my favorite set in the game for the average player. Perception Gear. Perception Gear is nutty. It's by far the best set in the Forge. By far. Like, there's not even one that comes... Maybe Swift Parry. Other than Swift Parry, there's not even one that comes close. I'd say by far the most versatile and usable set for everyday content. For any content in the game, Perception Gear is invaluable. So what does this give you then? 40 accuracy and 5% speed. It's basically like a straight upgrade on your accuracy gear. You only get the whatever this is, what's this called? Bloodstone from Faction Wars, yeah? So why do I say mid-game? Because you'll only get it when you start beating level 7 and higher. Because you don't really want to be rolling Perception Gear at 3 to 4 star. Ideally, you really want at least 4 to 5 star gear. So I would say until you can start getting the epic Bloodstone, it's probably not worth going hell for leather on this stuff. But honestly, I guess if you found a couple of half-decent 4-star pieces from the early game, it's not the worst thing in the world. And you know, the worst thing that could happen is you roll a piece, you see if it's any good, and you're like, that's rubbish. You sell it, you've made 8 times your money anyway. Starts with 1,000, just sold that rubbish piece for 8k. So it's actually not the worst thing to do. But Perception Gear is nutty right the way through to the very end game. I want to upgrade my Madame that I just showed you into all Perception Gear. If I can get the better pieces here, because it's a straight upgrade. Straight upgrade. With something like Perception Gear, so Perception Gear we know is going on someone who's going to be doing debuffs or affecting the enemy in some way. So what is that all about? Well, it's going to be people that need accuracy and probably people that need to go fast, yeah? So I'm always looking for speed plus accuracy rolls on my Perception Gear. That's the ideal. Speed plus accuracy, speed boots with accuracy roll, accuracy chest with speed roll, but you might go HP chest or defense chest with speed and accuracy rolls. Yep, so Perception Gear, I'd say it's one of the best gear sets in the whole game. Okay, next one up for the mid game then. We're going to talk about Stun Gear. So Stun Gear becomes a bit more difficult to find. It's in Finite Keep, and Finite Keep's harder to get going. But Stun Gear on any champion that does AoE attacks. AoE attacks all enemies. Yeah? So we've got here attacks all enemies on an A2, attacks all enemies on an A3, and then a double hitter on an A1. Good example of a Stun Gear champion. A better example is someone that does AoEs on all their skills, like Skull Crown or Bellower. There's tons of them. But Stun Gear is the best gear set to control enemies. Why is that? So any gear set that has got an ability that has got a chance to place a debuff, so stun, daze, taunt, freeze, any of those gear sets, they can proc without any accuracy. They don't need accuracy to land them. So you can actually build your champions very differently. I could build 0 accuracy on this Skull Crown, and I would still have 18% chance to land a stun every time I hit someone. Okay, so if you're fighting 5 mobs, it's pretty much, the chances are one of them's getting stunned. Yeah, one of them is likely to be stunned. And this is great for progression through dungeons, progression through Faction Wars, progression through Doom Tower. So in that mid game where you're just starting to push your way through levels, 1 champion in Stun Gear is insane. 2 champions in Stun Gear, and it's like that. What are you going to do to me? You're all dead because you're not getting a turn. The more people that you're up against that don't get a turn, the easier this content becomes day to day. So Stun Gear is just fantastic in the mid game. The other one, which I'm going to call out, which is kind of like, I'd say it's filler. It's filler gear. Both of these are actually. Both of these other two for the mid game are filler. But you get rewards from Clan Boss every day. You should be doing Clan Boss every single day. And you can get Cruel Set and you can get Immortal Set. Cruel Set and Immortal Set are just good filler sets because you only need 2 of them to activate their abilities. Cruel Gear just straight up gives you more attack % and ignores defense. So this is good for attack-based champions. So anyone whose skills have got attack in the name. And basically, you're going to get drops of this every day from Clan Boss. So just check the substats. Do they have things like crit rate, crit damage, speed on their substats? If they do, and accuracy, I guess, is the other main one, then you probably should roll them up and see what they're like. But it's kind of like free gear that you get every day. Once you can start forming some half-decent sets, then it's a nice one to have. And similarly with Immortal Gear, it's just a straight upgrade on Life Gear. You get a regen of health every turn. Again, this is good for people in shield sets as their secondary set, because you're getting more HP and you're getting a regen of health. It's also good just generally as the filler set if you're trying to build teams that can get through any wave content, dungeons, or any content really. It just gives you a slight regen of health, which is nice. It's a nice little top up. So Immortal Gear, again, you're looking for HP percentage, you're looking for speed, you're looking for accuracy as your substats. And Immortal Gear is good for anyone as well that's got damage that's based on HP. So someone like Sir Nick, who is an HP-based champion. Someone like Miscreated Monster, if he's out, yes he is. See this? I've got 2 sets of Immortal on him because I just want to get his HP up and his damage is also based from HP. So that's the mid game. And then we're going to talk about the end game. I think there's only 3 sets to add. We've talked about 8 sets already. I think there's only 3 sets to add. First one being my favorite set in the game because it just makes you hit hard, right? Who doesn't like smacking stuff up? Savage Gear. Savage Gear is the end game. That's what it is. Savage Gear is the end game. It's pretty much all I'm farming for now. Why is it so good? Because you ignore 25% of enemy defense. There's actually not a situation in the game where this doesn't out damage every other set. It's not a situation. Even if it's only by a little bit, it will always out damage every other set in the game. Unless you've got a champion that completely ignores defense. Defense, even a small amount of defense, can mitigate a healthy amount of damage. Okay, so even if someone's got 1,500 defense, a really small number, that will mitigate a decent chunk of damage. So all the time you're ignoring the enemy's defense, you're ignoring their ability to mitigate your damage. Savage Gear is the end game. Like I said earlier, stats over sets. So if you've got really crap Savage Gear, it's not going to be worth putting that on versus good gear, just random gear with good rolls. But when you get to the point where you've got half decent Savage Gear and really you're looking for speed, crit rate, crit damage, attack %, defense %, anything that's going to be boosting your damage numbers, crit rate, see this, crit damage with crit rate on gloves, attack % or defense % with crit rate, crit damage, speed boots or attack % boots, defense boots with crit rate. Like you're always looking for those kind of multiple damage boosts with Savage Gear because you're going to be putting it on people that you want to absolutely smack with. So Savage Gear, just the best gear in the game for smacking your way through any content. The next one up is actually going to be another endgame set. This is mainly an arena set, I would say, but it's super cool. Let me find where I've got some. Immunity Gear. So Immunity Gear is actually kind of useful probably anywhere, I guess, but it's mainly an arena set. What does it do? For your first 2 turns, you cannot be debuffed at all. So if someone's trying to drop your defense, if someone's trying to decrease your attack, throw poisons on you, throw burns on you, whatever, you won't take any of that. You won't take any of that for the first 2 turns. Once you've cycled 2 turns, it drops off, and then you're just normal. So if you don't have a fight that's long, more than probably more than 3 turns, then it's actually a bad set. Okay, because you cycle through those turns and then you're just normal. You don't get any other bonuses. But if you've got an arena type matchup or a fairly quick fight where you just want to block debuffs coming at you, immunity set's as good as it gets. There are champions. So the worst thing for me about this is it just sits as a buff above your head. So anybody that can clean buffs off, Madame, Kymar, anyone who can just remove your buffs or steal buffs, they can rip that immunity set off you, and then they can just go and debuff you like they would before, which is a shame. Because I would much prefer immunity set to just be fixed. 2 turns and that's it. It can't be taken off you. But it can. Still, it's an endgame set, and it's a set that a lot of people trying to push their way through, mainly in the arena, would use a lot. The last one then. The last set. This is like the golden goose, the epitome of endgame, because you need these magic hammers, and the magic hammers don't drop very often. You only get them from events, and you have to see if we've got some available right now to get. You have to be punching normally quite far through the event. Actually, that's not too bad, that one. Normally you have to be punching on quite deep into an event to get some of these hammers, and like one set of hammers, like I've got 5 hammers here, that's not even enough to throw the dice on one roll of gear. So I've got at the moment swift parry, 10 hammers. Yeah, I've got tons of everything else, but 10 hammers. So I can't roll. I can roll one lucky roll. Lucky charm, let's do it right now. And pretty much with swift parry, because it's quite a defensive set for arena. So you normally would want to be running things like, looking for things like speed, HP percent, defense percent, for the type of champions that this rolls into. I need it to be legendary. It wasn't. I get this trash piece, and there you go. Swift parry in the bin again. But if you do get some, it becomes a super annoying set for your arena champions. So, if I show somebody who's in swift parry, who I got? Duchess. So if you've got someone who's in swift parry, high HP, she's got this ability that 50% chance when someone tries to kill her, she doesn't die. She's like that. Woohoo! Unkillable goes on. Then you've got another whole turn for that to drop. She also gets good speed boost and good crit damage boost. It's a crazy set. It's the best set in the game, certainly for arena content, and certainly for arena defensive champions. Normally when I do plat level play, often I'm fighting against a whole team of people that have got swift parry on in their defense. So it's almost like they're proccing it one by one, and you think you've killed someone, they didn't die, and bam, you've got to kill them again. You've got to wait till they flex a turn, or you've got to find a way to clean off the unkillable before you can then kill them. So there you go, guys. Look, 11 sets out of 38, which I think are actually relevant for the game. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new. I've been Hell Hades. I will see you later.